Guys, I think the Chicago Bears just got a crazy opportunity. Tons of talk about who the Bears are going to pick at 10, rightfully so. But here's the thing. What if the Bears can have their cake and eat it too? And there's a lineman that's really going under the radar here, and it's not a name that you might be thinking of with all this emphasis on the first round. By what a top name and talent evaluation is saying, the best tackle prospect in this entire draft, he might be available in round 2 or even round 3. And well, here it is. I'm just going to get to it. The player I'm talking about is Oregon tackle Josh Conerly Jr. He's coming in for a top 30 visit. And we've got former NFC North coach and Bears coordinator Mike Tice. Remember him? He's great at evaluating offensive line talent, and he thinks that this guy is absolutely the best prospect in this entire class. I'm going to share what he had to say specifically in just a moment. But we're looking at Josh Conerly Jr. as a standout offensive tackle, elite credentials, elite measurables, and he's drawing significant interest from the Bears. He stands at 6'5", 311 pounds, capturing a ton of attention once again. And this is particularly after a standout contest against a premier edge rusher. Spoiler alert, it's the number one edge rusher in this whole draft class. He held him solidly in their game against each other. I'm going to talk about that too. But he's got this upcoming visit at Hallis Hall. This signals that the Bears are super serious about him. And this is a front office that is taking the offensive line very seriously, right? You guys already know, but it's Bears mentioning. We've got Jonah Jackson coming in, Joe Thuney via trade, signed center Drew Dahlman to a 3-year deal in the opening hours of free agency. The Bears have been aggressive. Lots of excitement around this revamped interior of our line. Still have the number 10 overall pick. Still have 2 early seconds. Still have our 3rd. And this is with Braxton Jones, right? He's the only unsure part of this line coming into the season. He's coming off a season-ending injury. He's heading into the last year of his rookie deal. So there's kind of a thought. If the front office wants to upgrade left tackle, who knows if Will Campbell is the right one? I mean, everybody's freaking out about his short arms. I just did a dinosaur thing there. That's really dorky. Sorry. But I think one of the most intriguing names to watch, it's going to be Oregon Ducks offensive tackle Josh Conerly. So why is he flying under the radar? Let's actually look at who he is as a potential pick. And I'm not saying he's in the same tier as guys like Campbell, Kelvin Banks out of Texas. You can talk about Membo out of Missouri, or even Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. I don't love him because he's coming off a major knee injury. But this is certainly the type of player who's has an elite athletic profile, and he might really be the best fit for what Johnson likes to do on this offense. So we're looking at the Bears already attracting some attention for their interest in Oregon tackle Josh Conerly, and that's because they just announced this top 30 visit, so teams are kind of seeing that they are interested. But let's kind of get to what Mike Tice had to say. And he's a former Bears offensive coordinator, former Vikings head coach, and this was during the Jay Cutler era. He did an analysis of various offensive linemen in the draft, and this was on his son Nate's ESPN podcast. The end result, surprisingly to me, overwhelmingly positive for this player that's been called an early second-round pick at best on the NFL mock draft database's big board. So let's get directly to what he had to say. I love him. He was my number one guy, period. Number one offensive lineman in this draft. Bold statement, right? I didn't get a chance to look it up, but whoever is the offensive line coach at Oregon, we're talking about Terry, he's done a tremendous job. This kid plays with great technique in all areas of his game: pass sets, run game, out in space, footwork, down blocks, hand usage. This guy has all the positive traits. And when you've got that many good traits as a player, you're first half of the first round player typically. But he has so many good traits that, to me, this guy is a premier offensive tackle in this year's draft. I really like this player, and there's not a lot not to like about him unless he's got some blemish or some acne that I don't know about. That snuck up on me. Is that an April Fool's thing? I don't know. That's kind of weird. But Tice is always known for his sense of humor in Chicago and Minnesota, and that's kind of joking with his son a little bit. Let's kind of get back to like some serious talk here. I'm really good in gap and zone schemes. It doesn't really matter. This is straight from Conerly. I bring a lot. And we're looking at the Lions also. Ben Johnson is our head coach. The Lions took another former Oregon tackle as the basis of their offensive line with Bears coach Ben Johnson in tow, and that was Sewell. And you know what happened with Sewell? Multiple-year Pro Bowler. And Conerly hasn't been described as that dominant of a player, but he's just got a really distinct feather in his cap. I alluded to this earlier. I'm talking about during the Big Ten championship game against Penn State. He was entrusted a lot of one-on-one, stopping the draft's number 1 edge rusher, Abdul Carter. So what happened? What's the end result here? No sacks allowed. Ducks coach Dan Lanning, he called out Conerly to stop the dangerous Carter, and this is straight from Conerly. It was shocking in the moment, but that was my plan anyway. I felt like I played okay. There are some plays that could have been a lot better, but for the most part, his impact was minimal, and that's exactly what Oregon wanted. And he said that he's been honing his technique by working in Cali with former Packers and Chargers center Corey Linsley. And he's also worked with former NFL line coach Paul Alexander. So he's working with some really good guys. This is more from him. I feel like I've actually gotten a lot more agile. And he's focused on improvement rather than just winning a game. That's part of the reason that he's seeing his game changing, because he is insisting on working on fundamentals. Change of direction stuff, linear speed, stuff like that. This is more from him. So, I mean, the guy's played really well. He's made a big impression so far, both to the Bears and to people in the Big Ten in that championship game. What's his blemish? Mike Tice would have called it a blemish. I don't think it's acne. And that was during Senior Bowl week, and a lot of you saw it, I'm sure. I know I saw it. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it. He got absolutely posterized. He was the offensive lineman beaten badly while trying to block Marshall's Mike Green. Mike Green's a guy that's mentioned as a possible first-round target for the Bears, maybe a second or third-round target. He's just a beast, and that was circulated so widely on X and YouTube. I'm sure it was super embarrassing for him. It's a game of football, is what Conerly said. Everybody gets got. I got. Simple as that. This happened before in practice at Oregon, so I've been in that situation before. No matter what, you've got to get back up and keep fighting. You're not just going to lay there forever. And from the sound of opinions floating around on Conerly, a lot of teams are going to take him for his word. Just elite measurables for this guy. He has all the intangibles by his play, by his film, that possibly Ben Johnson might be looking for. And this might just be a crazy opportunity for the Bears. If you believe what Mike Tice has to say, the Bears could very well get the number 1 tackle in this whole draft by taking Conerly in the second or third round. You guys, as always, I don't have to tell you to. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Bear down, and I will be with you too. I'll be with you tomorrow. I'll be able to talk better too. So thanks, you guys. I'll see you soon.